now that the fate of pyruvic acid is being clear to you, we are finally going to discuss today about Krebs cycle. Okay. Now, as you know, for pyruvic acid formed during glycolysis, it has to enter the mitochondria. Only then it can be performing in the Krebs cycle, or it can enter the Krebs cycle. So, for the pyruvic acid to enter the mitochondria to perform in the Krebs cycle, there is one step called transition step. In this step, the glycolytic pyruvic acid can enter inside the mitochondria. So we call this step to be transition step, or we can also call it to be gateway step of Krebs cycle. So here in this step, what will happen, you see, pyruvic acid that has been formed during glycolysis will undergo a dehydrogenation step in which NAD plus is getting converted to NADH plus H plus, and also it is a decarboxylation step in which carbon dioxide is being lost. Finally, we have to also, we can see here that a coenzyme A is being added. Due to this transition step, final product is acetyl coenzyme A. As because pyruvic acid is a 3-carbon compound and 1 carbon dioxide you can see is being lost here. So, the final resultant acetyl coenzyme A consists of 2 carbon. Fine. Now, before I tell you anything about the Krebs cycle, do remember respiration is finally a breakdown pathway, right? So that's why the acetyl coenzyme A, which consists of this 2 carbon, this 2 carbon has to be lost during the Krebs cycle. That is the final and the major objective of Krebs cycle, that is to break down further this 2 carbon. This 2 carbon has to be lost. But to lose this 2 carbon, we need to borrow 4 more carbon from another compound. And that compound is oxaloacetic acid. Alright, oxaloacetic acid consists of 4 carbon. You already know from photosynthesis chapter. So here, these 2 will combine and finally the Krebs cycle begins. So Krebs cycle begins from here. And in the first step of Krebs cycle itself, when acetyl coenzyme A 2 carbon and oxaloacetic acid 4 carbon combines together, we get the first compound of Krebs cycle, and that is citric acid. That's why citric acid is also, or rather Krebs cycle is also known as citric acid cycle. Another name to citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle is TCA cycle, because there are various reaction intermediates formed during this pathway which have 3 carboxyl groups, tricarboxyl groups. Hence, we also call this pathway to be tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay? So, let's now discuss the Krebs cycle. Do remember, when we talk about Krebs cycle, we do not include the transition step. Transition step is an independent step. We also can call it oxidative decarboxylation step. This is an independent step. It is not going to fall under glycolysis also, and it is neither going to be a part of Krebs cycle also. It's a transition, intermediate step. Fine. So when we call or when we say Krebs cycle, we basically mean that we start the cycle from here. Okay. These 2 combines forming citric acid. This is the first step in which Krebs cycle begins. Okay. So now let's see what will happen when Krebs cycle begins. Major objective being this 2 carbon has to be lost, right? So let's see how it will happen. So citric acid finally undergoes a dehydration step where water is being lost, right? And it will give rise to a cis-aconitic acid, and cis-aconitic acid undergoes a hydration step where water is being added, forming a isocitric acid. All of these are 6 carbon compound. So no carbon has been lost yet. So of course they are going to be 6 carbon compound. Now, isocitric acid finally undergoes a dehydrogenation step where NAD plus will become a NADH plus H plus, giving rise to oxalosuccinic acid. Now finally we have a decarboxylation step that is coming up. So oxalosuccinic acid undergoes a decarboxylation step where a carbon dioxide is being lost, forming alpha ketoglutaric acid, and of course you know that alpha ketoglutaric acid will become a 5 carbon compound. So 1 carbon has been lost, right? Also, one reduced equivalent has been formed, that is NADH plus H plus. Fine. Now, alpha ketoglutaric acid, as soon as it is formed, it will undergo another round of dehydrogenation also and decarboxylation also. So, NADH plus H plus is also being formed in this step. Also, a carbon dioxide is going to be lost. So, we have successfully lost 2 carbon here, giving rise to a succinyl coenzyme A, which is a 4-carbon compound. So, in a way, you can say that the final objective of losing these 2 carbon is completed here itself. So, as if Krebs cycle is completed here itself. Because after this, no further carbon will be lost, no further breakdown as such will take place. Then why is it happening? Why are these particular steps existing? That's because we need to recycle the oxaloacetic acid back. We need to recycle it so that using it, another round of Krebs cycle can start. So these particular steps are only to recycle back what we had taken. It's just like to start a business. If we needed some, we had only 2 lakh rupees and we needed actually 6 lakh rupees. Okay, so we had to borrow 4 lakh rupees from someone. Okay, we had to borrow it from someone. So we have borrowed it. So of course we have to return it back or not? Right? After you have successfully gained what you wanted, you simply cannot be forgetting the person from whom you borrowed the 4 lakh, right? So you have to return. So these particular steps are only to return what you had borrowed. I hope all of you are clear about it. Fine. So now let's see what will happen. How will we will be recycling the oxaloacetic acid back. So succinyl coenzyme A finally undergoes a hydration step. Here water is being added and coenzyme A is being released. And due to the coenzyme A being released, when this particular bond will break, a very high amount of energy will be lost and that energy will be used to form a GTP. So in this particular step, a GTP will be formed which will be coupled to form a ATP. So this particular step is where a substrate level phosphorylation is occurring, where ATP will be formed. So one ATP will be produced in this step. Now, succinic acid finally undergoes another dehydrogenation step where FAD will undergo a formation into FADH2, giving rise to fumaric acid. Fumaric acid undergoes a hydration step, giving rise to malic acid, and malic acid finally will be converted to oxaloacetic acid successfully by another dehydrogenation step in which NADH plus H plus is formed again. Okay, so you see in this, so various types of dehydrogenation steps occurring throughout the Krebs cycle. We have this one NADH plus H plus, we have this another NADH plus H plus, we have this third NADH plus H plus, right? And also we have on FADH2. So how many types of, total reduced equivalents are formed during Krebs cycle? 3 NADH plus H plus and 1 FADH2. Because you cannot consider this one, you cannot count in this one as because this step is not Krebs cycle. If it is asked Krebs cycle, you cannot be counting this one. Alright, understood that? So at the end of Krebs cycle, what our major objective was to lose this 2 particular carbon. We have lost this in the 2 decarboxylation steps here and here. Okay, and we finally have with us certain reduced equivalents, and that is NADH plus H plus and FADH2. All of these will finally be running, or it will be participating in the ETC, at the end of which a lot of ATP or a lot of energy will be produced that will be required for the aerobic life form to survive. Okay? So this is all about the Krebs cycle. I hope all of you are clear about it. Now next class we'll be discussing ETC.